Welcome back to BuzzMoncton. I'm Terry, sitting here with two members of RoundTable Theatrical, an exciting new theater company right here out of Moncton, which is really kind of cool, presenting their very first production last 5 years. So we welcome John Dunnett, who's the artistic director, and also Lindsay Fisher, who is the general manager of RoundTable Theatrical. Welcome to BuzzMoncton.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. So you guys have not gotten a lot of sleep over the last few days.
We've not gotten a lot of sleep over the last 8 months.
Okay, fantastic. So what's interesting here, what's really exciting for us at BuzzMoncton is how you guys all come from Moncton. You've kind of graduated, you came up through high school in the artistic programs of that high school, and you went on to be successful in other cities, and now you're back, which is kind of cool. So maybe, John, you want to talk a little bit about that. Where did you go from Moncton?
I left from Moncton. I actually got a scholarship from Arts New Brunswick, and I was able to attend the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theatrical Design program at the University of Alberta. I did not finish all the way through. Partway through my degree, I started working in the States. My first contract was actually at Walt Disney World. And every summer I would go back to the States on various visas, and this one summer I was working for an opera company. I had an extra 2 months left on my visa, and I thought, well, I could go home and work on my projects, my shows for the next year, or I could stick around. And I said, I'm going to stay in New York if I can get a job on Broadway. And within a week, it's a miracle. I was so fortunate to get the laundry position twice a week at Rock of Ages on Broadway. So I did it, and I just stuck around. I met people, and it's just a networking thing, and it's a game. And I went back to school, and the next year I was there full time with work. So it was cool.
Lindsay, what about you?
So for me, I do not work on Broadway, and I do not do laundry for a living. But I left Moncton. I actually was a stage manager in high school, and because of the leadership experience I got from that, I earned a scholarship to study at Queen's University. So I got the DNR Sobey Atlantic scholarship that allowed me to study commerce there. And from there, I was actually recruited out of Queen's to work for Target Canada. So I have a little bit of corporate experience working for Target. I was an inventory analyst with them for the first 3 years of operation. And of course, now I find myself with a little bit of time on my hands. So I've come back to something I was passionate about, when I was in high school, and something that I really believe in, and it's an awesome opportunity to give back to Moncton.
Okay, fantastic. So how did this idea of coming to Moncton, what precipitated this?
Gosh, I think if we go back to the beginning, I remember in Moncton High School, we'd be rehearsing, and every now and then one of McCardle's alumni would come back, and they're at the Stratford Festival, or they're at the Shaw Festival, and you'd hear them talk, and they'd always say, I want to come back and do a show, I want to come back and do a show, I want to come back and do a show. But I think the first time that kind of actually hit home with me is there was a group of us, and we were out at some Irish bar in Toronto one night, where the way that works with freelance in this business is a lot of us are frequently all over the place. So when we're in the same city, we of course meet up. And I think it was 3 years ago that we talked about kind of getting something together, and every few months something lines up. It's like, well, we do have a bit of time together, and it just never really worked out. And finally, I guess it was October, November of this year that we said, okay, we have a window, we're going to do it. It's time.
All right, fantastic. So you can pick up the story from there, huh?
So there's
how did you decide on this particular production? I guess would be a good question. Was that for you or is that for John?
It's probably
for John.
Yeah. So I asked a question. I might as well let you answer.
Sure. Well, the last 5 years is a very intimate, very personal musical. It's a 2-person show, and it's actually frequently billed as a song cycle. It tells the story of 2 people going through a relationship, their courtship, engagement, wedding, and the relationship actually doesn't pan out. After 5 years, there is a divorce. The interesting theatrical device used, though, is that their 2 stories are told in different directions. So when you first meet Kathy, who's the woman, she has just been left. And when you meet Jamie at the top of the show, he's about to go on his first date. So there's this interesting back and forth dynamic, and it really begs you to answer some serious questions about relationships, past relationships, hopefully not current relationships. But the idea was that it would provide an opportunity on with a core group of people. This was not a big, huge, flashy musical. It was very intimate. It's material-driven. It's story-driven, and it would allow us to experiment what it's like doing a show in Moncton, because obviously it's much different than doing a show anywhere else that I've worked professionally. I mean, I grew up here, but it's still different to come back in that context. And and just see what the response from the community is, and what is there an audience, I guess.
Right. So maybe Lindsay can pick up on that idea. When things working well now with the success of this last production kind of in the books, what's going on down the road?
So
What do you hope to, what the perfect scenario, what would happen in a perfect world?
I think the great thing about Moncton is that people are so supportive of what we're doing, and that's the difference between working here and working in a major city. I mean, we've had so much support from so many people, and we are so grateful for that.
It's been amazing.
And we've been so excited to share this with the community, and we would love to continue doing that. So in the long term, I think we'd love to mount some more productions here. We'd like to do different things and try things. And then, it would be really cool to be able to work in Moncton on this kind of thing consistently in the future.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to that. Lindsay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
John, all the best.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll do this again. For John and Lindsay, I'm Terry with BuzzMoncton.com. Be sure to check out our events page to find out what's happening in your city, and come back and see us again soon.